do this video, I decided to do something different. You know, I don't get a chance to do many hip hop videos, even though I should start doing hip hop videos about the history of hip hop, which I'm probably gonna do some hip hop videos maybe this weekend. I promise y'all. It's just, you know, I'm pressed for time. I gotta do a video on something that Juicy J tweeted about the state of hip hop. Basically, he tweeted that hip hop sales are down 40%. I wonder why, but we'll have a discussion. I need to have a panel. That's what I need. I need to organize a panel and then have a panel so we really can have an in-depth discussion on where hip hop has went, because it's basically in the toilet and about to be flushed. But shout out to all my, you know, people and my followers from the ATL, because I do think it is cause for celebration. I talked to my man, World Combat Sports, because, you know, he out of the ATL. Shout out to my guy Aubrey and you know, my other people from the ATL, because the ATL always have shown me a lot of love since I've been on YouTube. But, you know, I was really happy when I heard about this. You know, Too Raw broke the story first, so, you know, I'm doing a follow-up. But it's been reported that Speaker Box The Love Below is the highest selling album of all time. It's, you know, it surpassed Eminem, in which I'm really finna go in on Eminem fans later on in continuous videos about how basically a lot of them have been very toxic and problematic for hip hop, the black and the white ones, that feel like they have to go out of their way to praise Marshall Brooks Matters. But I think it's important that this happened, because at the end of the day, no matter how much other people try to take credit for creating hip hop, it was created by black artists. And hip hop, technically, if you want to get technical, hip hop, you can make the biggest argument that hip hop actually oriented from the South, not the East Coast. So all you Puerto Ricans and other people trying to take credit for the work of black people, nah, you didn't create nothing. And John Leguizamo, y'all didn't help create a damn thing. This art form was created by us. Take it however you want. We created this music. And black people need to stop, like, always aligning and trying to give people outside, you know what I'm saying, of the community credit, because they don't do it for us. You'll be surprised what we contribute into helping get invented, but people don't give us credit. Now, I do got to give Christopher Nolan credit that, you know, on the movie Oppenheimer, he did acknowledge that, even though I wouldn't exactly consider that good news, but black people did help Oppenheimer with help create, well, you know what he created. And like I said before, maybe we shouldn't take credit for something like that, but I mean, it is what it is, though. But I remember many moons ago, boy, was that relevant and took precedent when Andre Benjamin, aka Three Stacks, said what he said on the Source Awards. Because I bought pretty much all the Outkast albums. Now the funny thing is, I didn't buy Love Box, you know, Love Speaker Box, The Love Below. That's the only album I didn't buy. But at the end of the day, I bought the other albums. So, you know, it is what it is. I did not buy that album. Not because I didn't want it, but for some reason, I just never got around to buying that album. But I just remember so many moons ago. I forgot what year Outkast put out Southern Playlist to Cadillac Music. But when I first heard the Players Ball, and I was like, dang, this slap. And then I was like, Outkast. Now, y'all got to understand, before Outkast, you know, before, Outkast blew up. And you have to understand, when Outkast came out, the internet wasn't where it was. Like, it was like in its opening stages. So you just couldn't get on a computer and do research. Basically, you had to buy the Source Awards, Right On and stuff. So that's how, and then when you would see them on Rap City, that's how you found out they was from the ATL. But when I bought Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, I was like blown away. The production was on point. Beats was hard as hell. I mean, they open up the album with Ain't No Thing But a Chicken Wing. And then dude say, you hear Andre Benjamin say, niggas from the point ain't changed. So I was like, uh-oh. Then that beat kicked in. Woo! Man, I'm talking about Southern Playalistic. I mean, that album hit hard. I'm talking about if you had a box shelf, that was our culture. And, in the mid 90s and stuff, the box shelves, the super sport cars, the Capri Classics, the Malibus and all that kind of stuff, the, Chevrolet Chevelles. So, the Mustang 5.0. So, yeah. I think I had a 73 Nova at the time, but when I heard that album, I was just blown away. And word of mouth spread real quick about Outkast. So Outkast was big out here in the Bay Area. We was messing with Outkast. And that was the difference between Outkast and Eminem. See, Outkast was getting played in the streets. Especially, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, because, the production just was on point. Bass lines kicking, thumping, going hard in the paint. So then, Outkast wins Best New Artist at the Source. So they did them dirty. They was booing them, which I didn't understand. And that just unfortunately shows the ignorance of black people in our community, booing them because they wasn't from New York. And y'all New York niggas gonna have to understand something. Everybody don't have to be New York. You know what I'm saying? The epitome of hip hop. Because at the end of the day, y'all don't have exclusive rights on hip hop because y'all really didn't invent hip hop, technically. So you're not the pedestal. But I've seen this happen with some of the people in New York, and I'm not knocking everybody from New York, but I just thought a lot of that East Coast, West Coast, and the hatred that they had on the South was just ridiculous and shameful. Because at the end of the day, we were all black artists striving for one goal, to be the best we could be. But you had people, hating and knocking people because they was from somewhere else and not from New York. Very ignorant. And I'm just keeping it a buck. But they got booed. They went up there. They had they dudes with them, had their crew with them. And that's what you're supposed to do. Make sure nothing don't go down. And then when Andre Benjamin said, he said, check this out. The South got something to say. And that's all I got to say. I was like, yeah, that's how you make your presence felt. He didn't get up. He could have got up there and said, you know what, F all y'all. Because, Snoop went through it too. Did the same thing to Snoop when he was like, man, y'all ain't got no love for Snoop Dogg. Y'all ain't got no love. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, man. And I just saw that ignorance. And I was just like, wow. And I think to myself how shameful that was. But then that was it. After that, when Andre Benjamin said that and said the South got something to say, they made their mark. They planted their flag. It had to be said. Because I talked to World Cup at Sports about that. Because we were talking about, he said, it had to be done. I mean, of course, we had Scarface. We had, other guys, what I'm saying, from the Southwest. But Outkast, to just give us a string of hit records, great albums. And then, you know what I'm saying? And then the rest is history. And now you look at where they are now. I remember when they was first talking about the love box, the Love Below a Speaker Box, and leading up to the release of the album, they said it was going to be something different. And when I saw Andre Benjamin, and when I saw Andre 3 Stacks, whatever you want to call him, I call by interest. I kind of wasn't feeling it at first, but it grew on me. Now I did like big, I liked the way, because I thought that was hot. I thought that was interesting. And then when it came out, yeah. And it was different. Now, I had heard the album, and at first it wasn't really marketed as what you would say a double album, because technically it said Outkast. It said Outkast, Speak of Love. But it was really a Big Boy solo album and an Andre Benjamin solo album. And then it just took off. And I don't like to use that word pop, but it did cross over. And I'm glad that, 20 years later, because they recently celebrated the 20-year anniversary of that album being released. And one thing that I'm glad about, now these Eminem fans can shut the hell up, because they surpassed Eminem. Because one thing, when you would talk about Eminem, you could not honestly have an open discussion with Eminem fans without them turning it into, oh, you just don't like him because he's white. Oh, man, you guys are jealous. Jealous of what? And I will keep saying that. And I said this several times about Eminem. Made several videos saying, hey, I think Eminem can rap. He can rap. But all this GOAT stuff, I don't know about that. And that's all you would say. You would give an honest assessment about Eminem. And then people would turn it, even the black people would turn it into a racial, hey, man, y'all need to give Eminem his credit. Man, we can't be doing that as black. Man, fuck y'all, man. Nobody wouldn't. Listen, I said this several times. I ain't never had no problem with white rappers. The problem that I had is when people would say Eminem paved the way for white rappers, which is absolutely unequivocally false. And then you would have people that would forcefully try to say that, no, you guys just don't like Eminem because he's white. Now, listen, never had nothing to do with color. I just got tired of people trying to force feed this guy on us. Like, a lot of people like the Fat Joes, the Eminems. Listen, you can have a different opinion about Eminem. You don't have to like Eminem. And that was something that white people love to throw in our face about how many records he sold. Well, guess what? Now we finna throw Outkast. Oh, and before you say, well, that's a double album, that don't count. Yes, it do. According to SoundScan, it counts. Oh, well, it was two rappers versus, nah, we going by strictly record sales, because let's just say Eminem did a record with, I don't know, 50 Cent, and it sold 20 million records. Y'all still would count that as being highest selling artist. So no, don't even try it. It's a wrap. I'm shutting y'all down. So now you Eminem fans can go somewhere and cry, and you know what I'm saying, and go hide under a rock because you deserve it. Because for years, that used to be the biggest argument that they used to throw in people's face. It's about, well, nobody sold more records than Eminem. Well, guess what? Well, nobody sold more records than Outkast. So how do you like that? So how do you like that now? And I'm loving every minute of it because it had to happen. So now these Eminem fans can shut up now. I'm already shutting you down before you come with that. Oh, well, that was a double. Oh, well, that Outkast don't matter. Doesn't matter. You're not fit to change the narrative. And don't come on here and say, hey, let's not make this about race. Y'all made it about race for years. That was y'all only argument when somebody would critique Eminem. When Eminem would put out music, you say, hey, man, I'm about to do a review of Eminem's latest album. Well, I don't really like this album because of this, because of that. The first thing that come out of people, oh, people hating on Eminem. Oh, you just don't like him because he's white. And what would be sad about it, you would have black people doing this stuff. Y'all don't even defend each other the way y'all champion for Eminem. And that's where the terminology comes from. That's where the terminology you being comes from. I've said this before. Played out to me. And to be honest with you, where I'm from, the Bay Area, Eminem played out really after his second album. Eminem wasn't that big, and I'm just going to keep it 100. Eminem wasn't that big in the Bay Area. Really, nobody bumped Eminem. Eminem was the type of dude, if I played Eminem, it would be when I was by myself. Because people would look at you crazy if you played Eminem like in the Bay Area in the streets. And like I said, nobody wasn't bumping no Eminem. Eminem is what you call, I guess you could say, a guilty pleasure because some of the stuff that Eminem used to talk about. So, yeah. So when Gucci Mane made that assessment, when he said, you know, people don't really like mess with Eminem like that out here. And he was just telling the truth. And when you did a video basically explaining that, of course, the Eminem fans would get all in their feelings or get upset. And I don't like to use that term, all in their feelings. I really want to say something else, but, you know how YouTube is. But they would get extremely upset, extremely sensitive, as if you can't critique Eminem. And like I said, they would always turn it into some racial thing or make it about race, and it was never about race. If somebody make a bad album and you don't like it, you have a right not to like it, and to say you don't like it because the artist is a different color, that's stupid. Because what about the artists that are black that made albums that you didn't like? So if you say, well, I don't like this particular album by Snoop Dogg, because I'm gonna be honest with you, that album Snoop Dogg made, his second album, The Dog Father, I hated that album. I couldn't stand that album. And I actually didn't like too many of Snoop Dogg's albums that he made when he was with No Limit. I didn't start back to messing with Snoop Dogg till he made I think it was called the No Limit Top Dog. That's the one that had that song Bitch Please. Now that album slapped. And then of course The Last Meal. So by me not liking The Dog Father by a black artist and Snoop, does that make me a coon? So if a white dude say he don't like Eminem, don't like a Snoop Dogg album, does that make him a racist? Because that's what they would try to pull with us. Which there ain't no such thing as no black racists. Okay? So I'm gonna shut that down. But that would be their go-to move. I remember I did a review on an album Eminem made a few years ago, and I critiqued it. I listened to it closely, and I said, well, I wasn't feeling it. And then, of course, it turns into, oh, here we go again. Another black person hating on somebody because they white. And I got tired of people pulling that with me. I have a right to like what I like and not like something. That's my right. So when I heard white people critique it an album by a black artist and they said, "Hey, I don't care for this because of this." I never said, you're a racist. You're a racist. You just don't like the guy because he's black." But that, like I said, that was their go-to move. But then they holler about something ain't about race. They were the real racists. The white people that were calling you racist when you would say, "Well, you just don't like this particular Eminem album, or you're not that big on Eminem." They would come on my channel telling me that I had to put Eminem in my top 10. Says who? So like I said, I'm glad that Outkast surpassed Eminem. So now these Eminem stans and fans and apologists, they can go somewhere and sit their asses down where they need to be. Because they the ones that caused all this division. These coons that were sitting up saying that you have to give Eminem his props because you want to be in good with other groups of people. And then here's the thing. I know some black people that can't stand Eminem that say the same thing. But like it had that this happened because I'm just delighted when I heard the news about Outkast, surpassing Eminem as the highest selling hip hop album of all time. Because now they can sit their ass down, the people that was really being truly divisive. I feel like it was my duty to say this because I got tired of this. I'm going to say this once again, me critiquing Eminem or not liking his latest albums or music didn't have nothing to do with him being white. It's just that I wasn't feeling it. And I got tired of people having this protective shield over Eminem like he was exempt from being criticized. And that used to annoy me when you would get guys like 50 Cent and other people that would always have to come to his rescue. Eminem is a 51-year-old man. He can defend himself. And the thing was, Eminem wouldn't even respond to a lot of these things that would be said about him. He said himself that he felt that he was a guest. Eminem said himself that hip hop was created by black artists. And the funny thing is, I'm about to shut you white people down and you coons, and the real racists about Eminem. All of Eminem's inspirations, how Eminem became Eminem, is because of black artists. If you listen to some of Eminem's demo tapes, you do know he made like you do know that he made like a song using a old Queen Latifah beat. He slowed it down. I forgot what that song was called. It wasn't Princess of the Posse. It was the one of her earlier songs. I cannot remember what that song was called. So he was doing it back then. He already said he was inspired by people like LL Cool J and Big Daddy Kane, KRS-One. He even said X-Clan. So for all you white people and you coons that love to try to attack black people when we just give an honest assessment of Eminem, well, if it wasn't for us black people, if it wasn't for Dr. Dre, you wouldn't have your impressions that you love to try to compare and try to divide between, the culture, the race. So once again, it's because of black people you have your precious Eminem. So if you think he the GOAT, the best, well, guess why? It's because of us. I used to laugh when people would ask me to come on panels to discuss this. This is how you destroy anybody that try to put Eminem on this pedestal. I just gave you the formula on how to destroy any Eminem fan, any stand. Once again, if it wasn't for black people, you wouldn't have your precious Eminem. But I felt it was important to talk about this because at the end of the day, this went on way too long. So like I said, now these Eminem fans can go crawl back in their caves and basements, wherever they came from. Because most of them is a bunch of gutless idiots that don't like to show their face anyway. And like I said before, all you Negroes that love to try to sit up here and attack black people because they give an honest assessment of Eminem, you ain't nothing but a bunch of handkerchief head coons. I have the right to critique Eminem's music. I have a right to say whether I like or don't like his music. If I like it, that's fine. If I don't, I don't, and that's my right. But for you guys to be so protective and hover over this dude, it's just absurd. And that's always been the problem. You guys have been the problem. That's just real talk. Y'all the problem. Y'all delusional. You've been delusional. You guys have always been the problem, not us. The people that give an honest assessment. Just like another thing that pissed me off too, and just on the side note, I get tired also of you niggas always sitting up here trying to tell us, well, the people that like to speak on the beef with LL Cool J and Cannabis, who sit up there and say, well, if you don't think Cannabis beat LL Cool J did, you're not a real hip hop head. Who is you to say that? So I just wanted to say to y'all that been preaching that BS, fuck y'all too. LL Cool J, he beat Cannabis in the story. He destroyed Cannabis with that one line when he said 99% of your fans don't exist. That was it. It took LL three records to body Cannabis, but at the end of the day, LL won. Wasn't no politics to it. Second Rail KO was hard as hell. Oh, and by the way, Eminem didn't ghostwrite LL's verse on or didn't ghostwrite LL's lyrics on Can I Bust. LL wrote that song, and he said it. Eminem didn't write nothing, and Eminem said that he didn't write the lyrics. It was confirmed by both LL Cool J and Eminem because, you know, some people said that Eminem wrote LL Cool J's lyrics. Nah, LL wrote his own lyrics to that song. So for you Eminem stans that was trying to take credit, and Cannabis said that Eminem didn't write LL Cool J's lyrics for Can I Bust. Oh, I know this hip hop stuff. So that was just on the side note. That's on the side note because, like I said before, don't ever tell me I'm not no real hip hop head because I think LL Cool J won. Get out of here, man. You don't get to make that assessment, goofy ass niggas. But you know, I'm just keeping it real. You know, I could talk this hip hop stuff all day because, like I said, I grew up in it. You know, I remember when Rappers Delight, which set the tone for what we have now. That set the tone for the message, and then Rock the Bells, then I Ain't No Joke, and then and so on, and you know, My Philosophy, and so on to, you know, F the Police, and so on and so on and so on. So I remember all this stuff. I may have been young, but I remember all this stuff, and that's just real talk. But for real, in closing, I just want to say, you know what I'm saying? I'm proud of Outkast. I want to congratulate them. And I had to educate y'all. And I'm going to say this once again. Hip hop got created by black people. It don't matter how many people try to put together these bogus so-called documentaries on how other ethnic groups played a role and create. Nah, you didn't. You didn't. It was us. all us. Because I could pull up some records that came from artists from the South that date back all the way to the 20s. Don't play with me. Do not play with me, man. Do not play with me. Y'all don't want it. So for all you niggas that feel like you have to align and give everybody else credit for helping create hip hop, says a lot about you. That's get out of here with that hamburger helper extending hand stuff. People don't extend their hand to us. So that's just real talk. You niggas can kiss my ass. Real talk. Anyway, it's your boy Tim. I'm out.